Today I want to talk to you about total stopping distance and non-distracted perception reaction time. So let's talk about total stopping distance. Total stopping distance consists of three parts: perception time distance, reaction time distance, and braking time distance. So perception time distance, it's the time it takes to perceive that I need to brake, to see factors happening in front of you. Reaction time distance, that's from the time you perceive it to get your hands over the brake lever or the clutch, get your foot over the brake pedal. It takes time and distance while that is happening. And then finally, braking distance. How long does it take to come to a good brake? So what we want to discuss today is non-distracted perception reaction time. So a typical person's non-distracted perception reaction time is about 3/4 of a second to 1.5 seconds. That range. What I want to demonstrate today is how much distance do we cover on our motorcycles with that average perception reaction time. Non-distracted. If you talk about distractions, I'm daydreaming, I'm looking down, I'm adjusting the radio. If you're talking about distracted driving, you have to add time to that 3/4 or 1.5 seconds average reaction time. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to get to an area of the roadway here where we can do some normal braking and then add in some typical perception reaction time. Add in that 3/4 to 1.5 seconds and see what that does for our braking distance. So let's get set up here. Here's the scenario. I'm out riding my motorcycle. I'm in a residential area, so I'm going to be going about 25 miles an hour. There's an intersecting road coming up that has stop signs. I have right of way. Now, if a vehicle were at the stop sign and started pulling out, if I don't count for that perception reaction time and I brake, because I don't have that reaction time, I can stop prior to getting into the intersection. Okay? I'm going to put a cone on the ground to indicate my front tire where I just stopped. Now I'm going to do the same thing again, but now I'm going to add a 1 second non-distracted perception reaction time and see what happens. All right, my goal this time around is to add the 3/4 to 1.5 seconds, about 1 second I'm aiming for, non-distracted perception reaction time. So this is just typical perception and reaction time. So I'm going to come up to that same intersection. I'm going to be going about the same speed here. I'm going to start braking at the same time, but I'm going to add that perception reaction time. 1001. Now we're going to look at the difference between where I am now and where I had been before without that 1 second perception reaction time. So where I stopped before in the intersection was back here where this green cone is on the ground. Where I ended up stopping with a 1 second perception reaction time is basically through the intersection. That's non-distracted. So total stopping distance, comprised of perception time distance, reaction time distance, and braking time distance. How do we get better? Well, with perception time distance, we need to be better at perceiving. We need to apply our strategy of search, evaluate, execute. Stay mentally in the game, looking out for those hazards. Reaction time distance. Things we can do are cover the controls. Be ready, right? Reduce the amount of time it takes us to reach up for that brake lever or to push our foot on that brake pedal. And then certainly braking distance. We can get better at that by practicing good braking. Both brakes simultaneously every time. It's a fleeting skill. It's something we can practice and get better at. Gear up for every ride and ride safe.